Okay. It says we're live, friends. All right. So, distributive property. Distributive property happens when you see parentheses. Parentheses in an expression. You can distribute the value that happens in front to each value inside of them. Distribution tells you to what? What do you do when you distribute that number through? What operation, Stephanie? Multiply. So it tells you to multiply. Shut your music off.
I was turning it down. She told me to turn it down.
No, I need it off. The earbuds need to come out of your
You said if we
ear.
went alone, we can listen.
You're not working alone. I'm teaching right now. Take your earbuds out. Thank you, friend. Okay. If there is no value directly in front of the parentheses, we write in a 1. Okay, so there's always something there, whether it's written in or not. All right, I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you all can see what I'm doing. All right, so if you look at this expression, -2 times the quantity of x minus 3, what value needs to be distributed? The -2. Okay, not just the 2, that -2. So we distribute the -2. So this -2 multiplies against the x, which gives me what? -2x. And it also multiplies against the -3. So that gives me what? +6. Okay, remember, negative times a negative becomes a positive. All right? Questions on that one? Okay, the next one. Let's see. Maya, what value should we distribute in this one? The 5. Okay, it's what's straight out front of the parentheses. So the 5 goes through. So 5 times x becomes 5x. 5 times -4, -20. Your 2x and your -3. Nothing happens to those. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. So Stephanie has looked at this and said, well, we're not done. We have like terms. So Stephanie, give me 2 things that go together.
5 and
Okay, so your 5x and your 2x go together to give us what, Steph? 7x. Amor, what else can go together? -20 and -3. Actually, let me box those so you can see that they're different from the x. Seth, what'd you get? -23. See, y'all told me you couldn't do math.
It's hard.
Okay. Questions on that one?
No.
All right. Okay. Down here. Let's see. Taurus. Oh, come on, Taurus. What gets distributed here? Come on, Taurus.
No. I don't even know. I can't do math.
Oh, I bet you can.
See, Miss Blackwell has faith in you.
I do.
Come on. What's right in front of the
Can you
plane?
please call out somebody else? Can you please call out somebody else? I don't even like talking
That's
about it.
Math is beautiful. It's a wonderful thing. You like money?
Okay, then.
The negative. See?
But, I mean, I could.
You got it.
So it's just the negative? It's
Okay.
not negative two?
No,
Oh, because
it's just the negative. Notice there is no number right beside the parentheses. So technically there is an unwritten 1. So technically you're distributing a -1 the whole way through. Okay, so the 2 just comes over and we take -1 times -x, which gives me what, Daniel?
Negative times negative is
-1 times -x. So a negative times a negative makes it a positive. So we technically have a positive x.
Now, y'all should have knew that.
Sabi, what do we get when we take -1 times 5?
negative 5.
-5.
See, the only two people being solid.
Rashawn, what happens now? What happens now? I've got 2 plus x minus 5. Am I done? What do I gotta do?
Still
Hold on, let him think, hold on.
I do pay attention in class.
Don't make me call you assistant. All right, trust me, Brianna got this.
Don't you gotta plug the thing in there? I forgot.
We're not plugging anything in. We need to put something together. What goes together? What can we combine? Like terms, you need to find the like terms. The 2 and the -5. So the x doesn't combine with anything, but what do we get when we put 2 and -5 together? Negative
Oh,
3.
3. Yes. Absolutely. Okay, remember, if you just have x, that is 1x. Just understand on your test, they're not going to put that 1 there. You need to determine, you can write the 1 in, but they will not put that there. Okay, but 1x and x are exactly the same thing. Okay, good question. All right. 2 more. Uh-oh. Now I got 2 sets of parentheses. Justo. What gets distributed in this one? 3. But I have 2 sets of parentheses. So what else gets distributed, Jorge? What's in front of the other set of parentheses? Huh? A plus? And there's nothing written there, so there's technically a 1. Okay? So we actually have to distribute a positive 1. So we've got both of those. So let's distribute the 3 through. 3 times x, 3x. And 3 times positive 2, 6. Okay, what happens in that second set of parentheses when I distribute that positive 1? Nothing. It doesn't change. I can multiply anything I want by 1, and it never changes anything. So 1 times 2x just remains 2x, and 1 times -6 just remains -6. Brenda, what goes together here?
The 3x and the 2x.
3x and 2x gives me what? 5x. What else goes together, Miss L? The 6 and the -6. And what happens to that? It cancels out. Okay, so If you're that person, you're welcome to write +0. Just remember, again, on the test, they're not going to write that. It's just going to not exist, and your answer will be 5x.
Hold on.
You sure?
I'm used to make an add to the and then never
Wait, she made you do what?
mind.
There's no equal sign here. I know exactly what you're doing, and we will get to that. But you only do that when there's an equal sign and you cross that equal sign, okay? Okay, last one. Let's see. Rigo. I haven't picked on you today. What gets distributed in this one? -1. Okay, there is no 1 written there, so we have to distribute a -1. So the 5x just goes over when we distribute -1. -1 times 2x is -2x, and -1 times a -1 is a +1. I almost have all your guys' names. Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay. Yes. What's the matter? Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, we good here?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Xavier said I'm not done yet. What goes together, Xavier? 5x and -2x, which gives us what? 3x. And then 1 doesn't go with anything, so your final answer here is 3x plus 1. Yes, Prashant. Yes, because we're about to do an individualized activity. Make sure you take the pass with you. Okay, so those of you that did not finish your homework last night, you are going to work on that right now.
Yeah, homework. See, I ain't had it. You just gave it to me.
You had the white piece. You didn't need the other piece.
He's trying to get away.
Oh.
Yeah, I had that.
Oh, wait, we go back. Rezo.
Right.
That's probably easier than me. Because apparently I can't pronounce your first name at all. Salvi keeps. Listen, y'all say I can't pronounce anything. I mean, I'm used to it. Whatever. Okay, so if you did not complete this activity, I need you to be working on this. If you completed this activity, I need you to check yours. You should have 2 letters that match together. So when you complete it, the answer for A should match some letter. The answer for B should match some letter. So 2 of your problems have the same answer when you complete them. Okay, so let's say, actually, yeah, let's do one. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I really do.
Pick one.
H.
H.
Do G. Do G. Or F. G or F.
All right, we'll do G.
Maybe.
They said that one's easy. Why did you pick that one? All right, G. Actually, let me just do it on the paper. Because then I won't have to do it again. So when I look at G, what needs to happen? I need to distribute this -1 through this first set of parentheses. So when I do that, we end up with -2 minus 2x. What else needs to happen? The positive has to be distributed. Well, we discussed that that's not going to do anything. So +1 times -x is -x. And positive 1 times negative 2 is negative 2.
Oh,
Am I finished?
No.
No. No, no, no. Okay. Vanessa, what should I put together to finish this off? Okay, so the negative 2 and the negative 2. She said these two negative 2's go together. They don't.
Why they ain't got no equal sign?
Negative 2 plus a negative 2. If it was a negative 2 and a positive 2, they would cancel out.
So
Okay.
if you owed somebody $2, you're in the hole for $2, right? You're in a negative right now. You owed somebody $2. And you borrowed another $2 from them. Do you have any money?
Oh, that's negative 4.
So it's gonna,
Negative 4.
so you're still in the hole.
Oh, and 3x.
Okay? Not just 3x. Don't lose the negative. So negative 2x and negative x is negative 3x. Okay. How else can I write this? Not negative 3x minus 4. So this can also be written as negative 3x minus 4. You can change the order. That's okay. More times often than not, you're going to see it as the second instead of the first one. Because they're going to put it in what we call decreasing order by exponents. Okay? So they want your x first. Then they want your number. So more likely you're going to see this second one rather than the first. Okay? So take some time. Work on these. When you solve the rest of these, some other letter is going to have that same exact answer. So you might solve A and also get negative 3x minus 4. That needs to happen. You need to have two letters that match up. So A might have the same answer as G. E might have the same answer as F. Okay, that's what you're looking for. You should have 4 answers and 2 problems with same answers. Okay. So take some time and work on this. Okay, Ms. Blackwell is here to help you. I am here to help you. Okay, Ms. Blackwell.
Miss Blackwell. I'll be in here the first half or the second half, one or the other. We gotta figure out which one's best.
Okay, so Ms. Blackwell will be here. Okay. So if they're not the same, go back through and look at them again. You may have just made a simple mistake. So go back and look at the ones that you don't have matched up and see what happens. Yes, ma'am. I need to run across the hall 1 second and make a copy for McKenna. I already have somebody going out.
No, she gotta go in that hall. I'm done.
I allow 1 student out of the bathroom at a time, whether it's female or male.
So
And when she gets back, you are welcome to take the pass,
Then when he get back, can I go?
as long as I'm not teaching again.
You did.
Okay. We've got one more thing to cover, and then you guys have, no, you guys are gonna work, well, I mean, it is kind of free time, but you're gonna work in your groups. I have an escape room for you guys to work on.
working part.
No, you work in these.
You want some gummies? You shut up. You are always what's up.
Who? Oh, Billy, yeah. Who told you?
Oh my God.
I said mama myself. You said,
Okay, so look at it. You started to put, you have a negative. I'm not gonna go negative two. I'll go negative two, but somewhere I'm gonna go. So I can start at negative one, I'm gonna go back two places, where do I need to? Negative three. Okay.
Remember your multiplier.
This one says start at negative
Oh,
four.
wait. Are you taking the -2 through and then combining the -3?
Which way am I gonna go?
Or are you just trying to get that
Are you
-2?
in up that?
Because that'll be -10 then, because it'll be -2 times 5x. So bring the -3x down.
Everybody see how?
-2 times 5x is -10x. Don't forget your x. And then -2 times -2. Negative times a negative is a positive, so +4, so +4. And then bring down your 1. Now combine like terms. Don't try to do too much at once because it'll get you all kinds of confused. You're done? All right, so what I want you to do is put, so like C and H match, so put C and H and put your final answer up here. Put what letters go, put your final answer up here. Awesome. All right, so Daniel, you're gonna be my go-to. So once you're done with that, I want you to go around and help people that are confused. Can you be my go-to? Guys, Daniel's done.
I'm finished.
You're finished? You need me to come check it? You got it all fixed? Okay, first off, don't be rude, because that's extremely rude. Okay? I had to step out to make a coffee for somebody, and I am back.
They better. Now what do you get?
Peace class, see y'all in an hour.
And a half.
You needed this. No? You finished it? All right, let me go back here and refresh. My friend's back here. You done too?
Negative 2. 6 minus 2.
Hot in here. Okay, so what I want you to do up here, so like these two go together, because they're the same answer, put S and B here, and put the answer up here. Put the next two, put the answer up there. Okay, so Seth is also done. He can come around and help anybody that's stuck. Who still is done? He can come around and help anybody that's stuck. Okay, so what is that? Okay. This one matches this one. So you're gonna put A and D. Oh. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Miera is also done. She can come around and help anybody that's stuck. Okay. Oh, Morse like, come help me. Come help me. How we doing, Maya? You done back there?
Anybody need help?
Give me 1 second.
Anybody need help? Which one do you want to try? This one? Okay, so what do you have first? So negative times a negative is a So you have positive X.
See how these two are like really, really close, right?
They're still distributing this negative. Negative times a positive is a 3. Negative
So somehow one of these got messed up.
So you don't have that.
So when you change that to positive.
So now, you just have to write it all down. Okay, so combine your like terms. So here's an X and here's an X. So you have a
So you should have two problems that match.
You've got
Good.
one X.
You find your every two that match.
3 X's. So you have a negative 4 and a negative 2.
Jennifer is also finished. She can come around and help anybody that is stuck. Yeah.
Add and repeat the negative sign.
Perfect. See that you fixed your mistake. That's great.
Is there one that matches that?
Oh, I did not have to. So I want you to do it. These two match, so put A and D in the final answer.
That's okay, you tried. That's all it counts.
Stephanie is also finished. She can come around and help people that are stuck. Good? That looks fantastic. Yes. So these two go together. So put A and D and your final answer up here. Do the same thing for all the ones that match. Okay? A and D. And your answer was negative 13x plus 5. Negative 13x plus 5. And then find the, yeah. And then find the next two that go together. So this one is this one. Yep.
Is that positive?
And goes with that. Yes. And that's 3x minus 3. And then this one and this one.
You're at negative 4.
And
So
then
start at negative 4.
negative 3x minus 4.
Are you gonna go to the right or to the left?
Perfect. And then these two.
To the right.
Yep.
And where do you
An
end?
H. And negative
So when you
2x.
have a negative and a positive, you're going to subtract and then the larger numbers.
Good?
Which one?
Fantastic, friend. How we doing? So these two go together. These two go together.
Just bring that first part down. Because there's not any parentheses in
You see how you have negative, negative x. These double negatives.
So negative times negative is a
Negative 4 plus 1.
So it's plus 4. It's, no, you multiply the negative, so it becomes plus 1. So that's not in the parentheses, right? So you just bring that plus 1 down.
So start at negative 4. And I need to go 1 in the positive direction. That means I'm going to the right. So if I go 1 in the positive direction, that actually
Means you can add them together, the negative sign.
Yep. You want to help out my friends since you're done? How are we doing, Miss Al?
Sorry?
So these two go together. These two go together. These two go together. And these two go together. So all I want you to do is up here, A goes with D. D goes with what? Okay? Perfect.
But, word up.
So you know whether it's a negative or a positive. You know
So
what
look, these two match.
Don't forget the
So
sign.
he goes to check.
That's good.
A goes to C.
You got it.
So all I want you to do over here is
What letter goes with what letter?
all right, majority of you are finished, so we're gonna start going over these. If you are not finished, make sure you're paying attention to what I'm doing up here. Okay, you can continue to work if you can focus on both. So I'm gonna move to letter A. Letter A, the first thing we need to do is to what? What am I distributing? I heard somebody say distribute. -2. So this -2 gets distributed through. Everything else just falls down. So -3x comes down. This becomes -10x plus 4 plus 1. We now need to combine like terms. So what goes together? -3x and -10x. So -13x. And then the 4 with the 1 plus 5. Question B. We need to distribute 2 numbers. Okay? Be careful. That's one of the mistakes I saw as I was coming around. Most of you understood the fact that the 2 needed to be distributed to both the x and the -2. But I also have this in front of this parenthesis. So a -1 also needs to go and be distributed. Okay? So this becomes 2x minus 4 plus x plus 1. Some of you forgot about that negative outside of the parentheses. So now we combine like terms. That becomes 3x. And -4 and +1 becomes -3. Questions on A or B? Okay. Oh, sorry, let me leave B up there. Okay, so if I move on over to C, again, I have 2 numbers that need to be distributed. First one is my 2. This 2 goes to the 3x and the -1. 6x minus 2. I then need to take this -2 and distribute it through. So -8x plus 2. Well, when I go to combine like terms, my x's go together. -2x. And the 2's cancel out. I have a positive and a negative. Well, they just go bye-bye. So your answer is just -2x. Okay. You need a box of chocolate. You really need more sugar? You get bored? Does that mean I'm making this too easy? We need harder work for you?
Yeah.
I can give you an Algebra 2 book. Okay. D. We need to distribute through the -2. So we bring down the -3x, we bring down the 3, and when I distribute through, I get -10x plus 2.
No, keep up.
Yes, I can gladly go back over that. Are you? Did I go too fast when I got to the -2?
No, you was just fine.
Tell me where I need to go back to. The whole thing? Okay, so we took negative 2 times 5x, became negative 10x, and negative 2 times negative 1, and the negative times the negative.
Yeah, I get it.
You good now?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Guys,
Oh, I know.
listen, I do this every day, and if I go too fast, I need you to be like, stop, repeat. Yes. What you got, girl?
Are you on this?
Yep. Shh, guys. Go ahead, Amor. You're fine. What goes together? Okay, Amor says I gotta put negative 3x and negative 10x together, and that gives me what, Amor? Negative 13x. And then 3 and 2 give me what? Plus 5.
This is great, right?
Mhm,
Yes, I did.
right. Y'all worked hard today, so y'all are gonna get grade for this today.
So
Woo-hoo.
to switch classes, where I go to the office for the
Guidance. But you're only gonna get switched out of classes if you've already taken a class and passed it. They're not just switching you because you don't like your teacher or whatever.
I need to switch band because I was working in band.
You need to go to guidance during that class period. Okay? You're welcome. Okay, E. What needs to be distributed in E?
Negative.
The negative ones. Okay, don't forget there's an unwritten 1 here. So I distribute my negative to this set of parentheses and my negative 1 to this set of parentheses. So negative times a negative makes this a positive 3x. And a negative times a positive makes this a negative 7. Well, we're finished. Come on. Okay. Negative times a negative makes this a positive 3. And a negative times a positive makes this a negative 6x. We combine like terms. So 3x and negative 6x becomes what? Negative 3x. Minus 4. You're done, right? When you do F, we distribute through the negative just like we did in E. So my negative x becomes positive and my positive 1 becomes negative. Nothing happens to 2x or the negative 2. It just falls on down.
Why is it like upside down? Like the F? Oh, now I see. The F look upside down, but
Oh, it's just a lowercase and they use some fancy font, you know.
right, but now-
We like to be extra. Teachers always like to be extra. We combine x and 2x. 3x. And we combine negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 3. Okay, so you've noticed right now that A matches D. You've noticed right now that B matches F and E matches G. So H better come out to be what? Negative 2x. That had better match C. Okay, so let's go on to H and see what happens. What's the only thing that needs to be distributed here? Oh, yes. Yes. That negative in front of the 2x. So my 2x then becomes negative. So 4x minus 2x minus 4x. These 4x's cancel. So yes, I'm left with negative 2x. So up at the top, if you have not already done so, you need to put A and D in one of those and put the answer negative 13x plus 5. Okay, so I want to see something like this. Okay, so A goes with D, and that was the answer. Okay, so match your two letters up, put the answer up. I'm gonna put G and H back up here just in case anybody wasn't finished. Okay, so letter that matches the letter, and then put the answer up where it says expression. And then B goes with F and the answer that you got. Okay. So see how this answer matches this answer. So you're gonna put A and D, and then -13x plus 5. Then the next two letters that go together and the answer that you got. Okay, while y'all are finishing that one up, we've got one more foldable to do today, and then it's group activity time. Actually, no, we've got to talk about inverse operations before we do this one. I lied. But I'm still gonna pass this one out while you're writing that one. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh?
What's for lunch? So we would have been.
Yes, on page 2.
What was it?
No. He was talking about the syllabus. 4, 1, and 2, and 3. Today for lunch, y'all are having turkey and cheese sandwich or nachos with salsa. Turkey and cheese or nachos and salsa. Okay. We may not do this group activity now because we're trying to work on the homework. So you don't have to take it home. Okay. Before we can actually solve, we need to talk about inverse operation. So in other words, what do I use to undo and get rid of something? Okay, so the first operation, give me an operation, any of them. What do you got? What operation do we do in math? We have 4 of them. Addition. Okay. Brenda says addition. So that's a plus sign. It should already be glued in. It should be on the next page. Yes, page 8. You should have this one glued in already. Okay. So, what is the inverse, or in other words, opposite of addition? What'd you say? Subtraction. So, to get rid of addition, we use subtraction. Okay, so we covered addition and subtraction. Give me another one. Multiplication. Good, Brishon. Multiplication. A times B. Okay. Brishon said the opposite of that, or the inverse of that, is division.
Good job,
Okay, I'm hoping if I give you the first one, you can tell me what's opposite. Okay, so
Did I say division?
division,
No,
Division.
It looked like an R though. I was just saying.
Square. How do I get rid of something that is squared? And I'm pretty sure Brishon actually said it. Did you say it?
What I say?
Say it again. What'd you say?
I was trying to say that.
I swear you said it.
Like say good.
How do we get rid of squaring something? What? Square root.
Oh, y'all can't say that.
We take the square root.
We both said the same thing.
You ain't need to say that.
Okay, so with the square root, because I'm sure most of you have not done a lot with squares and square roots. Okay, we are going to get into a little bit of it this year. You're going to see the bulk of square roots in math 2. Okay, you're going to see the biggest part of square roots in math 2. So, in other words, if I take 3 squared, that gives me what? 9. 3 squared is 3 times 3. That gives me 9. Well, to go in reverse and get back to 3, I would take the square root of 9. And that gives me 3.
Oh.
So when you square something, to undo that square, you would take the square root. Okay? You'll also talk in math 2. If you cube something, to undo the cube, you would take the cubed root. If you raise something to the 4th power, to undo it, you take the 4th root. The 5th root, the 6th root, the 7th root. It will go on from now till infinity. You will never stop. Okay? Yes. Yes, that is a radical. Another name for the square root is a radical. I don't have mine open. Okay. All right. Down at the bottom. Okay. Addition. Because these are some of the biggest mistakes that I see. Okay. So, addition. Addition can be written as x plus 3. Or 3 plus x. Notice in both of those expressions, 3 is positive. Okay, so that means to undo it, we have to subtract. Okay, so be careful because they can write it both ways. Subtraction. Can be written as x minus 15 or negative 15 plus x. Either way, your 15 is negative. So to undo it, you need to add 15. Okay, so more, this is where you're getting to that plus on both sides to get rid of them, okay? The last one, multiply. You're going to see 3x. This means that you have 3 times x. They just don't write the dot. You need to understand that. And to undo that, we would have to divide. Okay. Questions? What's your question? You good? Stephanie.
Technically, isn't it in proper terms if the x comes first?
More than likely, you're going to see it as x plus 3. But, you know, they love to trick you
All the time.
all the time. So I want to give you everything that you could possibly see. Okay. But yes, it is proper to write it as x plus 3 or x minus 15 because they want it in that descending order. Okay. Sabi, please pick up your head.
Isn't it like if you have like 4x squared, you put 4x?
Jorge, head, up. off the desk. Okay, I'm sorry, continue.
So
It's
then
a,
you have 4x squared
Yeah,
plus 3
it's like-
7, 4x and then x squared.
You want the x squared, then the x, then the number. If you've got cubed, it's got to go cubed, squared, x, number. Yes. Okay. This is just a reference page for you. Okay? So you remember what these terms mean. Okay? Remember, if your arrow in an inequality is pointing to the left, okay, so notice the first two, less than or equal. They're pointing to the left, which makes them less. L and L. Okay? Anytime you go from one side of the equation across one of these symbols, you must use an inverse operation. Okay? Biggest thing, and I need you to put this somewhere on this page, I don't care where. When multiplying,
No, I knew we had to write.
just anywhere on the page. It does not matter where. So if you want to wait until I write it all so you make sure you have room, that's fine. When multiplying or dividing by,
Can't rip it out and redo it.
I mean, you don't have to. I'm not writing all that much. When multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. Okay. I don't care if you want to highlight this on your page, put it in bold, color it in. It is very, very, very important.
No cap in the rap.
No cap.
They call me rock along with it.
Mhm. We're going to do that when we cover linear equations. Yes. Well, at least you know that, so we can work on that.
Yeah. In the movie. I don't know. Oh, dang.
Okay, once you're done with this, we need this sheet. Once we fill out this sheet, I'll show you how to fold it and glue it into your notebook. So let's write on this one first, and then I'll show you how to fold it and glue it in. You
I can't sing.
busting out a song.
Why? You can't say
On me, I can. I was supposed to be on the American Got Talent, but that was.
You supposed to be laughing at you.
Anybody still need this up? Okay, come on, keep writing.
Why is it so cold in here? It's gonna be hot in the winter though. We ain't gonna be in here. No, I'm just playing. You got no self-esteem. Huh? No self-esteem, yeah.
Okay, We need to talk about our steps. Okay. So this is going to be our goal for the rest of the week. Today we're going to talk about one step. Tomorrow we're going to talk about two steps. On Monday, we were supposed to quiz. I pushed that back to Tuesday. Monday, we're going to look at multi-step equations and
We
inequalities.
got school next week?
Yes, all next week, Monday through Friday.
Supposed to be off Monday.
It's not Labor Day. We started a whole week earlier than normal. We got 2 full weeks before Labor Day weekend.
Oh my God, y'all want me for that.
I will see y'all Monday through Friday next week.
And
Nah, I'm gonna miss it.
And then the week after that, you're off on Monday. That's Labor Day week.
just Monday?
Just Monday.
I thought we had the whole week off.
No.
Come on
Labor
now.
Day, I'm here relaxing.
Labor Day is Monday.
Oh,
Monday, you got a 3-day weekend. Then I'll see y'all Tuesday through Friday. Then Monday through Friday. Okay, so our goal for the rest of these 3 days, we are trying to isolate the variable on one side of the equation. What does that mean? We want to isolate something,
Take it out. Clear it off.
okay?
Not there no more.
No, we don't want to get rid of it. If I take you and I put you in isolation, you're on your own. You're all by yourself. So our goal is to get whatever variable we are trying to solve for all by itself. We don't want anything added to it. We don't want anything subtracted to it. We don't want anything multiplied or divided. Okay, we want the X or the B or the C to be all by itself. So, ways we do this, we use inverse operations. Yes.
How many more minutes we have?
We got 20.
Is that on or ain't on?
Okay. Our second step, we have to keep the equations balanced. I know you've heard this a million times. What I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other. So if I add 4 over here, I have to add 4 over here. Okay, we must keep them balanced. And our final step then, you should always check your work. What was your question?
Like, when we have a group activity.
We're not going to get to it. Check your work. I do. There's a
You didn't put an R in the
box
R.
of tissues over there. Check. Oops, you're right. Check you work. Check your work. So it's like, can you please use proper English, not check you work? Check you work. It's fun when you get papers and instead of spelling out U-Y-O-U, they put you.
It's fun.
Well, don't do that. Y'all about to start writing college essays and all that
And
stuff.
for yours, you are.
You don't know what.
All right, we're gonna start with the left side.
who's on the right side?
We're gonna go in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so our job is to get X by itself. So I always tell my kids, where you see the equal sign or the inequality sign, I want you to draw a line. Draw a line. Anytime You take anything across that line, you have to change the sign. You must use the inverse operation. So my job right now is to get X all by itself. So what else is with X that needs to move, Stephanie? Okay, your 9 needs to move. When I move it to leave X there, it has to go across. So positive 9, the inverse is negative 9. Okay. So my positive and negative cancel out. I'm left with X equals, Stephanie said negative 19. Is X by itself? Is it on one side of the line all by itself?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're done. Okay, let's move down to number 2. Our job is to get positive M by itself. So what do I gotta get rid of? I called who so.
Oh.
What do we gotta get rid of in number 2? Negative 3. Okay, I need to move it to the other side of that line. So instead of subtracting 3, I need to add 3. So I add 3 to both sides then. So these cancel on the right and M equals 5. Good job.
I don't know what's wrong with it. Second period, bro, I always be late, bro.
Okay, number 3. I need to get X all by itself. So Amor, what do I have to get rid of in this problem? What's with the X? There's a 3 with the X. So when I read this is X, what 3? Divided by. So what's the inverse of divided by? Multiply. So I multiply both sides by 3. So I'm left with X equals, what's 20 times 3? 20 times 3. Oh my gosh.
That's what I meant to say.
That's what you meant to say, 60? 23. When I'm done with everything else we got to do, yes. You've got to pay attention.
I was
And
paying attention. I'll tell you.
Yeah, can you go back to the first one? I didn't do that. My bad.
well, let me finish the inequality sign and then I'll put the first one back up. Okay, last one on the equal side. What must I do to get Z by itself? Ooh. Oh no. What is happening here?
It's multiplication.
It's multiplication. There is nothing in between the number and the X, which means it's multiplication. So we need to divide by negative 5.
What?
Okay. If that, so. This would have been subtraction, where you would need to add to both sides.
Oh.
Anytime you see it could be 7x, that's multiplication. Negative 14x, That's multiplication. Okay, in order for that to be subtraction, there has to be a plus or a minus sign in between. Okay, this is one term and one term only, which means it's multiply. Okay, so please, please, please be careful. So this should be Z equals 5.
The first day of Christmas.
Okay. The right-hand side. All that has happened on the right-hand side is I have now created inequalities. Okay? We no longer have an equal sign. So there is a range of numbers that will work here. Notice too, I put up there, inequality rule. When multiplying or dividing both sides by a negative number, you must flip the inequality. Flip the inequality. So we're basically going to treat these just like they are equations with an equal sign. Okay, so again, when I cross that inequality symbol, I have to do the opposite. So how do I get D by itself in number 5? How do I move that positive 20? Subtract. So D is greater than or equal to, what's positive 8 minus 20? Negative 12. Okay. Rezo, how do I get rid of B minus 12? How do I get B by itself?
All right.
Come on. How do I get rid of a negative 12 and move it to the other side? What's opposite of subtraction? What is opposite of subtraction?
The teacher, I'm not about to do this. I don't do math at all.
Are you gonna do this in my class if you want participation points?
Participation.
Mm-hmm. You don't get to just zone out in my classroom. I pick on you.
Say it.
Okay. Then.
What is addition?
Trying to tell me what I know and I
You
know.
didn't even know what you want to say.
But oh God, I knew what's wrong with you, son.
What's wrong with your son?
Plus 12. So now we have B is less than
Oh, my hand.
22. Good thing we only have 2 more to do.
And then we leave.
Son, look at the clock. Hey,
We're just
Oh,
cold.
some leave. Okay.
leave it.
I like this class. Let's just go.
It is cold.
But our third period class, why is it so long?
Because of the lunches.
And it was her.
Number 7. Ooh. How do I get X by itself?
You take
Don't you
it.
just
put it
put
in
by
yourself.
here?
You add. Okay. So I agree with Krishan. He said we divide because right now you have 1/2 times X. Instead of dividing though, we can multiply by the, begins with an R, reciprocal. When you have a fraction that is multiplied, to get rid of it, we multiply by the reciprocal. So what that means is I multiply by 2/1, or just 2. So X is greater than negative 16. Okay, this last one is the one where you have to be careful. What do I have to do to get h by itself? Divide by what? -2. So stop there. Divide by negative. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, this sign has to go in the opposite direction. So it was less than, because I'm dividing by a negative, this becomes greater than or equal to now. Okay, this goes along with that rule way at the top of the page, right above 5, where it says, when multiplying or dividing both sides by a negative number. Okay, so please be careful with that. Okay, so we're dividing by a -2, so h is going to be greater than or equal to -6.5.
Where that line from?
That line's going up to the sentence right above number 5, where it says inequality rule. When multiplying or dividing by a negative, flip the sign. Okay. Give everybody a second to finish this up real fast. I need to show you how to fold this, and then I'll put number 1 up for those of you that missed number 1.
Already got.
Got it? Off of somebody? Okay. So, to fold this page. Hold on. I got to get everybody to glue this in yet. So, to do this page, you fold it like this. I don't understand why we're having conversation when I'm still speaking.
Miss Bill, I appreciate that, because I've been trying to do my work the whole day.
Yes, I will open it back up. Okay, this is how you fold it. Right underneath of there. You can glue this in on sideways on page 9.
Sideways like this?
Or no, what page are we on?
You mean
All right.
10?
We on page 10?
Yeah.
Yes, on page 10. I lied. On page 10.
Hey, we glue this like a
Like, long way.
Yeah, sideways into it.
like this.
Like this?
This would make sense to glue it that well. Like this.
That way you've got the titles right there. Right? It glues in sideways.
What, like this?
So it's gonna glue in and it's gonna look like, oh, and of course I don't have one
On
done.
this page, what?
It's right there.
Oh, I do have it on this one. I have 2 stinking notebooks. One to get me ready for class and then one to do during class. So I glued mine in like this.
Okay.
Okay?
I need to write that last one down.
It is right here, baby doll.
Which way looks better? This way?